Like I don't think people understand how good that feels, just to put that sticker on that board.
Just going to the HBU baseball games now is like, it's crazy not being able to be a part of it. It's crazy. I would say just enjoy every single day, no matter what.
We must rock the place, turn up the bass and make some sound. Boy, run, and we will end your week just like a Sunday.
Aloha, welcome to our second episode of the KE Boys podcast. My name is Dane Fujinaka. I'm the head baseball coach here at HPU. For those of you who have no idea what this is about, this is our second week doing this. This is our second episode. Our first episode, if you missed it, was on Daniel Johnson. He was our captain, catcher, and had an interesting story that he was able to tell kind of about his time prior to HPU and then when he was at HPU. And now if you watch it, you know that he's coaching for us. So yeah, like I mentioned in the first episode, I think this is a great platform for different guys that have been in our program to share their stories, share how they got to HPU, share, what their experiences are like. So if you're an HPU fan or if you're thinking about coming to HPU, if you're a recruit, what an awesome opportunity to listen to some of the guys that have played here and have kind of been through it. And, we get guys from all over the country, all over the state. In particular, today, we're going to be talking to two local guys, Makana Quia and Leisher, who are both from Oahu. Both have a little bit different career paths prior to HBU, and both guys that I actually did not recruit. I got the job at HPU in the fall of 2021, and both Makana and Mac were already on the roster, so they're like my adopted kids, um, is what I like to call them. But I'm super happy that they're able to jump on because they're two of, they're two guys that I tell stories a lot of to our current team, and how they've been able to progress over the last or over the 4 years that they were here with me. It's just tremendous gains and tremendous stories, and both are kind of different in their own sense that we'll dive into. But we're super excited to have them. And then lastly, we have Coach Richie. I didn't introduce him early on the call, early on the podcast last week or the last podcast, but want to make sure I introduce him, our director of player development, associate head coach, and he was a player with these guys as well. So I'm sure he can add into a lot of these stories. But yeah, let's dive right into it. So Christmas, Merry Christmas to both of these guys, or as we say, Mele Kaliki Maka here in Hawaii. But let's start with you, Makana. So tell us a little bit about how you got to HBU because Waipahu guy. I'll let you tell it, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I went to Apollo High School. Then as a junior, I actually wasn't good at baseball my freshman sophomore year. I didn't throw hard, didn't have any velo behind me, but I think it was my sophomore year. I didn't get a lot of playing time. So like that kind of lit a fire under me and I started throwing hard every single day, just pretty much just trying to kill my arm and just let stuff rip. And then all of a sudden my junior year I started throwing harder. I think I went from like sophomore year I was maybe 75, 76, and then junior year I started hitting 85, 86, and so on. So yeah, my junior year I was contacted by Dallas Correa, the old head coach. And then I had a bunch of JUCO offers, but what came down to my decision was I not only wanted a good baseball background, I wanted something that looks good on my resume.
Hmm.
And I felt like HBO would have gave me a better resume than going to some JUCO. So yeah, then time went by, COVID hit, and then I committed to HBU
So you're high school grad. You grad in 2019,
2020.
2020. Okay.
Yeah, so I
So
didn't actually have a senior year for baseball. I think I played like one game.
gotcha. Okay. And you just so that people know, you grew up right down the street from Hans Orange, right? Which is
Yeah, like a minute.
yeah. So okay. So here's Makana, right? He went to high school within walking distance of Hans Orange Ballpark. Lives right there. So did you like grow up watching HPU baseball or like how did you know about the program?
I actually didn't grow up watching HBO. I was more of a UH fan,
Hmm.
but I went to like one of those camps and I think I forget who the coach was at the time, but he told me I didn't throw 90, so I wasn't gonna play for his team. So I kind of just said, "Oh, screw you." Then I heard of HPU and then decided to go there.
For sure. Okay, so also for people they don't get to see how big you are, but Makana's a big boy. He's what are you, 6'3", six
Six
four,
three, yeah,
six
two
three,
sixty.
prior to HPU, were you bigger than when you got to HPU?
I'll say bigger and like baby fat. I didn't really like fill out. Like if you look at my freshman picture, oh, that shit was horrible. Oh, excuse my language,
Or,
but that was a bad photo.
you're at HPU, you're saying.
What was that?
Freshman year at HPU?
Yeah, freshman year, bad photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, gummy bear.
Yeah, so Makana's high school career, like Waipahu is not known for baseball, right? More of like I would say
No,
football school.
football, yeah.
Football school. So, every once in a while though, like there's a good player that comes out of Waipahu, right? Who's the major leaguer that came from Waipahu?
Jerome
Jerome
Williams, I
Williams.
think.
Jerome
Yeah,
Williams. Waipahu grad, and here comes Makana, and you typically don't look at Waipahu for baseball players, so it's kind
yeah,
of shocking that a guy that threw 90 miles an hour in high school or close to it, gets not doesn't get seen, but it makes sense with COVID, right?
yeah.
Maybe it was overlooked, and yeah, you only had JUCO opportunities, but um, okay, cool. So that's Makana's background, and Mac, I'm gonna shoot it over to you. You had an interesting high school path. You born and raised in Hawaii, but went to St. Louis and then kind of jumped around from different high schools, right?
Yeah, so I graduated from St. Louis 2019, but I was only there my senior year. The rest of the time in high school, I was at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. And over there was an insane experience being surrounded by people from all over the world, a bunch of Olympic athletes, a bunch of MLB guys come and train, like David Ortiz, Andrew McCutcheon, everything that we all worked out with them. But I actually didn't really have too many looks. My Up until like my senior year of high school, I tore my UCL my junior year at IMG. Then I tore it again my senior year at St. Louis. And then I took a gap year so that I could get healthy. And in the middle of my gap year, I popped my UCL off the bone and I herniated my disc and needed to get spine surgery.
That was that going into your freshman year of college?
Yet I was going into my freshman year of college.
Wow.
And that's when COVID hit. So I couldn't do any PT, anything like that. So my UCL Tommy John was delayed by a year, the recovery part of it, just because of the hospitals being so overbooked. They didn't really have any sort of way to fit a Tommy John rehab in there when you
On
have
on
somebody,
the high
yeah,
priority
people who are,
list as far
yeah,
as
that's not really high in the priority list.
yeah.
So I didn't really have too many offers or anything like that going into college. So I was super thankful that HPU kind of gave me a chance just from the word of the St. Louis strength and conditioning coach, Marcus Cumiro. He gave me a really good word about HPU. Then I had some classmates that went there, like Cole Kashimoto. Me and him actually went on the visit together, and one thing that like really stuck out about HPU was the smaller class sizes. I have a really hard time learning in a big class with like 500 kids in it. So like seeing just how personable a lot of the professors were, how kind of more relaxed they were in terms of with student athletes understanding the schedule. That kind of made it like a pretty easy decision for me. I get to stay home, I get to play in front of my family,
Mhm.
and I get to represent Hawaii, which is something that a lot of people take pride in.
Yeah, no, okay, that's a good way to transition there. So obviously being from Hawaii, both growing up in Hawaii, graduating from Hawaii high schools, like how much did that get taken into account? Like, hey, I want to like stay home and represent a Hawaii school, and being able to play in front of both your guys' families are from here and live here, right?
Yeah. So for me, because I spent a lot of time in the mainland playing baseball and everything like that, I understood what it was like not being in Hawaii all the time. A lot of times, like you'll kind of take it for granted because you're with it every single day. But as soon as you leave Hawaii, or you just see how everything else is, the beaches are not pristine, the weather's not perfect all the time. Like right now, I'm in Philadelphia and it's 25 degrees out. And so for me, like being able to go back and represent Hawaii, especially when we get to go to California, like that, I feel like that just in itself is makes it a little bit more personal for a lot of guys who have connections, and it makes you wanna make your family proud because you're doing it for them mostly.
For sure. What about you, Kana?
So I actually didn't want to stay in Hawaii for school. I thought it would have been more better for me to go to school in the mainland. I feel like I would have grown up faster, not having to rely on my family, friends. But talked about it with my parents, and they didn't really want me to go. And deep down inside too, I didn't want to leave either because you live Hawaii your whole life. It's a small island. You just want to be close to family.
Mhm.
But in the end, I ended up going to HPU, and I'm happy I did. I got to play for my family for all 5 years of college.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
it was cool.
That's interesting. I would have never guessed that for you. Like I would have assumed that you like wanted to stay in Hawaii. Just I mean, when you see Makana, he looks like the most like you think of a Hawaii guy, like that's what Makana's picture pops up. But I think that's a cool point that a lot of Hawaii kids in particular like think about, right? Is
Yeah,
want to experience what it's like going to the mainland and going to school in the mainland, which is, I mean, that's real.
yeah,
The mainland in college, and it's a totally different experience. But actually, all three of you guys didn't get that experience of going to the mainland, going to school there. But like I will say, like we tell our recruits this too, like summer ball, right? Big opportunity for you to experience what that's like in the mainland. So, Richie, you played summer ball in the mainland, right? Drive line in Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Went to Nebraska.
and Connor, you play. Where did you play? Port
played
Angeles.
in California my first year, and then played in Port Angeles my second year.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, you were at the Potters, right?
Yeah, yeah,
For one summer, Port Angeles.
yeah.
Nice. And then Matt, I mean, well, I guess you were battling injuries your pretty much your entire career, making sure that you need to stay healthy. But you spent a lot of time in the mainland at IMG Academy, so you kind of knew what that was like you were saying.
Yeah, I played yeah, in college is a little bit different because I had the ACL and I had the herniated disc. So a lot of time in the off season was time for me to rest, but also train to and get my body stronger. But I played a lot of summer ball in Florida, Georgia, Chicago, everything like that, just around the country, wherever I can.
Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, both of these guys, zero offers, or very little interest from other schools. HBU being one of their only options, and it worked out. I mean, if you go and Google these guys, maybe we'll post their career stat lines here. But both guys have improved all through their time here, from their freshman year to their senior year, and in different areas. Like, McConaughey, I remember coming in. So again, both of these guys were on the roster currently when I took over, and I remember going back and looking at their numbers. Mac didn't have any numbers because he was hurt, but McConaughey had thrown, I think, what'd you have, 3 or 4 appearances in
I think I had
23
like 3 innings.
innings.
Yeah,
I think you had like a 25 ERA.
ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous.
But no, I remember watching Synergy video on that, and I was like, wow, this guy's got a pretty good arm. He's just, so raw. But I remember being really excited to work with you. And then, fast forward 4 years later, and the career that you had with, breaking the all-time, appearance record, career appearance record for HPU by I think a long shot. Richie, do you know the exact numbers?
Yeah, I think based on what I could find, I'm pretty sure you broke it by like 19 appearances. The record was 56 and yours is 75, which is yeah, that's a lot of times to come out and pitch. And what's funny is that I thought Mac was gonna break the record for most in a single season, and you got close. I don't think McCullough was the guy I expected to one up you and actually break it, but that goes to show your improvements on the sorry, your improvements on just like the health side and being able to throw that much. Like I never would have guessed that would have been you, but hey man, like that's a testament to all of your hard work, being able to be a guy like 2025 where like okay, like McConnell through game one, all right, get hot for tomorrow, like we got you for game three, game four, and just having that reliability, like, you basically became in a lot of ways like exactly how we used Mac the year prior. So it was honestly kind of cool seeing that the two of you guys were pretty close, and I was pretty close to you guys too. We all played together, and yeah, I think being a guy to break that record, I think is a pretty significant record in itself. So, I mean, really like big props to you, man.
Thank you. I had no clue. I had no clue.
Yeah,
I knew I threw a lot this past season. I think I was throwing like twice every series, but I didn't think I was close to the record.
yeah, we didn't we did. I don't remember taking a look at it during the season, but we kind of thought about it. We're like, holy smokes, like he did throw a lot. And if you like, even and you played 5 years here, but the first
Yeah.
you only had 4 outings or less
Yeah.
than 3 outings,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think that you did that over 4 years pretty much. And 75 divided by 4 is 25 appearances every year.
Yeah.
4 years,
That's a lot.
or I'm sorry, 3 years. Um, so which is, I mean, that's a lot. So, props to you on that. And then Mac, from year two for you at HBU, year one for me with you, to see kind of how your involvement, and how you got better as a pitcher. And I kind of want to dive deep into the maturity aspect of things for you, because I think that's what allowed you to take as big of a jump as you did from year to year, and in particular your senior year when you might be one of the best relief pitchers in HBU history, just from a impact standpoint. I think you led our team in innings that year coming out of the bullpen, not even being a starter, which is crazy. I think you're 7-3 that year. You had the most wins on our team, most appearances, and yeah, I mean, never would I have guessed after year one that would have been the player that you would become. So props to you. But going back to Makana, so freshman year you threw 3 innings,
Yeah.
I dominated. What did that summer look like, and like what did that self-evaluation look like for you after that year?
I think that summer was looking to find my confidence again. I think my freshman year, I think my biggest reason why I wasn't successful because I would just throw stuff down the middle and I think I could beat everybody.
Hmm.
Because high school, I mean, I could throw down the middle and I'd beat everybody, and then I think that's where I was wrong. So took it to summer ball. I just wanted to build back up my confidence and beat a pitcher who I knew I was. And yeah, that's about it. I think I had a pretty good summer actually, and then I got hurt, and then
So
Yeah.
that was after your freshman year or your sophomore?
yeah,
Okay.
no, just kidding. The summer ball was after my sophomore year.
Right. So after year one, so that COVID season, right, where you guys played
Yeah.
on UH, like what did that summer look like? And obviously there was a new coach, right? You guys didn't have a coach.
Yeah.
Um, and after having a year like that for you, like what were some of the thoughts that went through your mind? Like what'd you do that summer?
I think actually after my freshman year, I think I remember I took I think like a 2 or 3 week break off just to like have some fun because I think after that first year I was really down on myself. I was like, I had such big talk around me. I mean, I think I came in as a freshman. I was topping 91, so there's just a lot of hype around me. And to have such a bad year, I think I remember I took some time off. I just had to be happy again.
Hmm.
Then I think after that I worked with Jordan. Actually, I hit him up and he would just send me some videos. You just grinded with him pretty much for that freshman year.
Yeah. Nice. And I mean, that was a big summer for you because that year, my first year, like that was arguably your best year from just
Yeah.
a statistical standpoint.
Yeah.
But I mean that Jordan was our pitching coach, right? Or assistant pitching coach.
Yeah.
I know he helped mentor you, but I think kind of similar to Mac, but for you, like there was so much development that happened like off the field, right? That how
Yeah.
do you translate that on the field? So for reference, I remember getting senior GPA. That was one of the first things that I saw when I came in and took over the roster was your GPA. And I remember you being just eligible. Like it was like
Yeah. I want to say it was like, yeah. Yeah.
and I remember, the you're one of our big returning arms that everyone had talked about, and I was like, dude, this guy is not even going to be eligible. Like that, let's worry about that first, right? So,
Yeah.
that I always brag about it every single year, even from that year of how you turned it around from that first semester to the second semester. I mean, you became like, how did talk to us about that?
Yeah. Oh, about my grades?
Yeah, like how did you what turned it around for you?
I think I just kind of had a thought in mind where, like, I need a backup plan if baseball doesn't work out. Like my grades aren't good. I ain't gonna play. I ain't gonna graduate, and that's kind of what I thought about. And I actually want to shout out Koma Oshiro. I honestly, he is the reason why I was able to finish school. Like the amount of support and how much help he gave me. Like I remember on the road trip my sophomore year, he like stayed back and didn't go to like a good dinner spot with you guys, and he stayed up with me until like 12 a.m. helping him with my stats homework. So I just want to shout that guy out.
Love it.
Big love for that guy right there.
Love it. He's a great teammate, and I remember that, or I remember hearing about that. But that's awesome. So you kind of relied on your teammates to kind of help you
Yeah, like yeah,
with learning and how college works, right? You just got done with your freshman year, obviously COVID, so you guys weren't really going into class.
yeah,
So it was probably a pretty tough transition from going to Waipahu and then everything's online at a college, at a university,
yeah,
right? Um, but you turned it around. I mean, I think that next year you had like a 3.7, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
Crazy. Biggest GP turnaround I think I've ever seen. Um, and do you think that kind of helped you like hone in like your maturity on the field, like as a pitcher?
Yeah, I think it helped me with being more responsible and like better in my time management.
Hmm.
I think that was the biggest thing for me, like with my homework. I didn't have good time management. Of course, I was lazy. I was like, I don't need to do it. And then I'm also someone who very does everything last minute.
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of where I got screwed up. But I think the next year what helped me, I started like doing my homework like the first day and just chilling the rest of the week, getting it all done.
Hmm.
So that was like my biggest key takeaway. Just get your homework done quick. You don't got to worry about it at the end of the week. It's hard to manage doing homework and practicing 5, 6 days a week. So that's probably my biggest thing.
Yeah, just sounds like your routines got better as you got,
Yeah,
right? And you started to see like, okay, if I really want to make this serious and make, have a jump in velo or have a jump in, because then I think your body looked a lot different year two and three than it did year one,
yeah.
right?
I think I lost like 35 pounds in like 2 months.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, if you tie it all together, right? So you have better grades, better habits and routines off the field, better eating habits, all that combined, and then you fast forward to your sophomore year and you had a pretty good year, right? You were
Yeah,
on that year.
I think the grades is definitely a big thing, and I think the biggest thing was the confidence. Like I know like Dane, like you talked to him and harped on kind of a lot about the confidence, but I think too like seeing you from your freshman year all the way till graduating, I think that was always the biggest thing. Like you knew you had the stuff and just kind of learning how to how to better pitch with it. But honestly, at the end of the day, like also it's funny because you mentioned when you first got here that in high school you could kind of get away with just throwing it right down the middle and trying to beat guys. And then I think honestly we kind of got away from that too much because what
yeah,
ended up happening is I think you found the most success when you went back to that of like also because your stuff got better. I mean, you went from being like 88 to 91 your freshman year, and then by your senior year you're 93 to 95. And I think like learning that part of you who was like just knew you could beat anybody with your stuff. I think it was really cool to see you get on that mound and you like believed you were the best pitcher there, and you cannot get hit by anybody. Um, I think there was this. I think it was against Biola in 2025. That was like kind of the outing I always remember from you. Is like you were facing off against like their best hitter, and you just like 1, 2, 3 fastballs like beat him, and I'm like, dang, like that's the best I've ever seen you pitch. And I think yeah, just going back throughout the years, it's kind of ironic that at the end of the day, what makes you successful is when you believe that you're the best pitcher on the mound. And I think it took a long time to get back there. There are certain moments I think, especially like 2023, where we kind of lost that for a bit, kind of worried about trying to clean up some mechanical things. But I think once everything kind of was put back together, and then you put the confidence in there too, like that was the best version of yourself that I ever saw.
Yeah, I agree. I remember seeing you for the first time that fall and just thinking, wow, like if this guy could solidify some habits and routines in his daily life, like could be a pretty special pitcher. And yeah, you did have a little bit of a down year the next year. But like Richie said, I think it was all, from a confidence issue. You had the habits and routines in place. It was now like, okay, like we got to just kind of embrace the process a little bit.
Yeah.
Understand that there are some ups and downs, but turned it around. I think that summer, like after, was that 2024? Yeah, the summer after 2024, I feel like you like really took it upon yourself to make sure that you did what you needed to do to be the best pitcher you could be.
Yeah.
You didn't you had like an idea of like who you were as like a pitcher and a person. And it's like, okay, I'm giving it all I got for one more year, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
So what did that summer look like for you? Because I know it was different. Like you went to see Jordan
Yeah.
quite a
Yeah.
bit.
I think so. I think that's senior season. I remember my arm giving me issues.
Mm,
And I think the previous 2 years I went to played summer ball. I just thought about it. I was like, I played summer ball for these past years, and I haven't in both leagues. I didn't make it past 10 innings because my arm would give out. I think what I did for that first part of the summer, I think I rested, did a lot of stretching, a lot of rehabbing, just resting in my arm, and then actually I started working out with Jordan. I think we had a good routine going on. I think I would see him 3 times a week, and we just work from like mechanics, conditioning, stretching, yoga. It was just a good routine, and I think that's what helped me a lot. Like
yeah,
I think
sure.
the jump from that year to my senior, I think my fourth year, my senior, I think that year was just throw it as hard as I can, no matter how your body feels, and just believe in yourself. That senior year is where I think that's actually where I made that kind of jump in velo.
Mhm.
I think we just fine tuned some little stuff, and it just started all coming together, and that's how I started throwing harder that year. I was healthier for that most part of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah, big shout out to Jordan too.
for sure. Yeah, I think I still have the video of you hitting 95 in the fall inter squad. But that was crazy because, I think we had that as your goal, or maybe your goal was 96. So you're really close to hitting 95, or really close to hitting 96, but you hit 95, which is a PR for you. So that was really, really cool. And to see that translate for you in the fall and then, trickle into the spring was awesome. To you, Mac. I remember the first memory that I have of you is at KE Lagoon. It might have been like in like a optional kind of. I wasn't technically hired yet, so I was just kind of observing. And you're like, I'm gonna throw a bullpen today. Like, sounds good. Nice to meet you. I'm Coach Dane. He's like, sounds good. I'm just rehabbing, so I'm gonna be about 70%. I was like, cool, cool. How many pitches are you planning on throwing? I was expecting you to say like 20, 30, because that's what typically guys do when they're coming off a time. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna throw a 70 pitch bullpen. I was like, 70 pitches? I was like, holy
Yeah,
smoke.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah,
And
that was a crazy rehab program I had.
yeah, so I watched your bullpen. I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy smokes, like this guy might be our best arm. Like the arm action was really good. I don't think he threw a ball the entire 70 pitches. Everything was spotted. It looked easy, it looked repeatable. And I was like, I remember asking the coach, like, who is this Mac Leisher guy? Like he looks like our Friday guy. Um, and then unfortunately, right, you get hurt after that first, I think it was the first outing in the fall, actually. You tweaked something and
Yeah.
kind of set you back that fall. But yeah, why don't you walk us through your career at HBU from your freshman year, you got hurt, and then to senior year.
Yeah, so my freshman year was it wasn't pretty. It definitely wasn't pretty. I'm sure a lot of people will remember the guy with the broken back trying to do 300-yard shuttles, and I could barely run. So one of the things with my back is that because it was so herniated, it actually shut off all the nerves to my left leg. So every single time I tried putting weight in my left leg, my leg would go limp. So I was running with one leg. I failed the conditioning test by not even like 20 seconds. Coach Carlos, well, he went up to me. He's like, "Bro, do you even know how to run? Like, this is bad." And then it was so bad that Coach Dallas was like, "We're running this back again tomorrow." Because what was that? And then we came back. I failed again. And then he said, "You know what? One more time. If Mac fails, we're all running it again." And then I'm sprinting. Everybody's finished at the line. And then Dallas is like 10, 9. And I just start shuffling towards the thing, and I ended up diving past the line just to make it on time. I made it just on time. And after that, everybody came to me, picked me up off the floor. It was like, yeah. And then that was probably the highlight of my freshman year, because after that, I could barely walk. I had to get surgery and everything, learn how to walk again. And then my freshman year was just pretty much sitting on the sidelines, watching, talking to the guys. A lot of the guys called me the second trainer, because I would be there like helping them with their warm-up routine, helping them like stretching out their arms. I used to crack people's backs. Remember that, Connor? I used to do a thing where I put my thumb right into the lat and I push the arm up to stretch out the lat. So I had guys lining up just for that, because I was thinking of any way possible I can be helpful.
Love it.
And then it came like my sophomore year was your first year. So yeah, the bullpen, I remember that 70 pitches, 3 sets of whatever amount of pitches you want. And I just remember like it was scary throwing that many pitches, especially after tearing your UCL 3 times, 3 years in a row. Like, it's scary going back. And I think that's what held me back the most, was the fear of getting hurt again.
Mhm.
Just because of the amount of pain, the amount of waiting that you have to do. Is just like, I didn't want to have to go through that again. So when I ended up re-hurting my arm, that did a lot to me mentally, just because of I lost all trust in my body and my ability to stay healthy. So I started treating practice as if it was just trying to get through it without getting hurt. That's eventually like what it came down to. And it's something that like you notice pretty instantly.
Mhm.
Yeah, on the mound, I remember after one times I came and I got rocked. And then I came off like, I'm happy I just didn't get hurt. And then you and Ash looked at each other like, that doesn't seem a great thing to be proud of. Like, you should be proud of that, like, you did good, not because you didn't blow up your arm. And so he came to talk to me. He's like, like, what's going on? Like, it just, like, when you're up there, it doesn't really seem like you want to be up there. Like, it seems you're a little bit more comfortable on the side. Like what's something that we can do to help you get your confidence back? And over time, that kind of just came with preparation. It was being prepared for it. And one of the things that I remember that happened was, this was probably one of the more embarrassing moments of my HBU career. It was my first time pitching at Hans since getting injured. It was bases loaded. It was bases loaded, 2 outs, inner squad, and Richie is at the plate. And I go in, and they're playing Return of the Mac. And I go in there, and then I forgot, it was either you or Jordan handing me the ball. He's like, bro, bases loaded, 2 outs, fastball down the middle. Who cares? Let's see how far they can hit it. Well, Richie hit it pretty far. He hit it pretty far. First pitch, right down the middle. Richie hits a rope right over the right field wall for a grand slam as my first pitch back from injury. But, after that happened, I started like, I don't know what happened, but I started throwing strikes. I started throwing the ball hard. I wasn't caring about if I was going to get hurt or not. And even though I didn't do good statistically wise, I remember you guys came up to me. It's like, hey, I know you didn't do well statistically, but we loved the energy you had. We loved it, the intention you had between each pitch, and that's all we want to see from you. Like, we don't care if you get hit around. Like, we just want to see you wanting to be up there. We just want to see you having fun. That kind of like had me going back to like when I first started playing baseball. Like, I wasn't concerned about where I was hitting the order. I wasn't concerned when I was pitching. I was just happy to be able to play baseball and be able to be there with all my friends. Because yeah, HPU, that's one of the things that happens more times, I feel like, than any other college, is the amount of connections and amount of relationships that you make at the college just from the circumstances that we have to deal with. You know what I mean? Like having to build our own weight room at KE, everything like that. Like that's stuff that you can't say that you did anywhere else. And I feel like that we just
I'll make sure to put a pop-up video of exactly what you're talking about, Matt, because
yeah,
I
that
think it's
was
great. I forget about that sometimes of how, I remember our first workouts were in the dugout, right? At KE.
yeah, we're in the dugout. I remember too, like moving stuff around and finding scorpions. We found a dead bird. I remember like Makana was like trying to get people to try and pick up the bird.
He's a grind, man.
It's funny
Yeah.
how you remember those moments. You know what I mean? Like when you're actually doing it, it sucks, right? It's
Yeah.
it's like the worst thing. But like looking back, now that you guys are all done and you're reflecting, like those are the moments that you remember. And I remember telling you guys that, like, hey, I know it's not ideal, but those are the times when you look back and you're like, I can't believe I had to do that, right? But I did it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no. So for reference, like. I was super hard on both of you guys. I remember like very hard, and especially you, Mac. I remember, um, you know, like you said, like I didn't know how much you cared about winning. I didn't know how much you cared about competing, right? And rightfully so. Like you were more worried about, am I going to be able to actually throw a baseball tomorrow, right? Because you
Yeah.
got hurt. Um, but that like something happened along the way to where something flipped, and I believe Richie might want to talk about this, but you went from being a guy who were like honestly like we thought about cutting. We're like, I don't know how much this guy like wants to be a part of it, and he seems like he's just along for the ride, to being like, bro, like this is our guy. He's the reason why we're winning and we're in all these games. Um, do you remember that, Mac?
I 100% do. And honestly, if I were you, I would have been cut. Like I would have been cut. Like my falls were historically terrible. And I just had a bad mentality my first couple of years at HPU due to my injuries, and I'm very glad a switch went on.
For sure. Richie, walk us through that because I think you probably remember it the best.
Yeah, I see. I forget if it was the fall of 2023 or the fall of 2022. I think it was 23. It was going into your last. It was going
Going
into your
through that.
last season, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Nice clicked out there. Yeah, so I distinctly remember there was like an outing where I know you had a really bad outing, and then I think like Dane like blew you up or something, and then I remember you mentioned like you kind of going into your last season, you didn't know if you wanted to play baseball because you had a good junior year. Like 2023 was like the real like Mac Leisure. Like you were probably our second best pitcher behind Ryan. And it was great because we had like you and Ryan to cover like 7, 8, 9. Like that, the goal in 2023 was like, hey, like if we can get to the seventh with the lead, like we're good because Mac and Ryan go back to back. And I remember that fall you had like your tattoo stuff going pretty well. Like you're kind of thinking, post baseball, post college, you're kind of setting yourself up for success. And then I started seeing like the old Mac of like, like why should I do this? Like why should I put my body through this another year and risk getting hurt when I could just like kind of ride off in the sunset? I remember Eddie and I talked about it, and we're like, look, like we know we need Mac, like we need you, like you're probably our best arm. And I remember pulling him to the side one day because I was just kind of like heart to heart. I'm like, you've been one of my closest friends at HPU. Like the two of you guys were always really close to me because we were kind of all in the dumps together that 2021 season. So I remember like telling you, like, look, man, like do it not just for yourself, but like for your teammates and for myself. Like we've been friends for how many years now, and like I think you owe it to not just like yourself, but to us and to me. Like, cause I was your coach at that point. It's like, if you're gonna be here, we can't have you being 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and you have a choice to make, and you have 6 months left of baseball for the rest of your life. And I think after that conversation, you like actually kind of took it to heart because for me, like it mattered to me too. I'm like, I can't have the season for this team without you. Like we need you to be the best version of yourself. And I know Eddie being the response too, because Eddie, like, he just makes everything a little more relaxed. So I remember that conversation vividly, and then yeah, I mean, I guess a flip switched in you, and you ended up being basically our most reliable, like biggest impact arm we've had, and I'd probably say in all of my years here. So I'm glad that we were able to have that conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was super glad too, honestly. Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy because I'd always been grateful for you, Mac, to be on our team because I knew what I was gonna get. I knew I was gonna get a mid-80 strike thrower that could spin a slider, that'll get us out of, get us through innings. Now that switch ended up being like, dude, this is like we have to use Mac in a situation that we're gonna win this game. And that's what you became. That's the only reason why Mac didn't start his last year is because I didn't want to burn him the first 4 or 5 innings and then not have a chance to win, 6, 7, 8, 9 when Ryan can only throw 1 or 2 innings. So, we're like, okay, priority number one is we have to get a lead through the first 4 or 5 innings. If we have a lead through the first 4 or 5 innings, Mac can give us 3, 2, 3, and then Ryan will finish it, which is why you ended up with 7 wins as a reliever. Is because every situation, once a series that we had a chance to win, you were in the game. Um, and like we alluded to earlier, it's we rode you out too, right? It wasn't like, hey, we're gonna save you for the next game. It was like, hey, no, we got a chance to win. We have our best pitcher on the mound. Go get us that dub. So it was pretty cool to see. One of my proudest moments as a coach, honestly, like seeing you kind of mature and be the competitor that you ultimately knew you could be, which was that senior year. Um, and I remember you like asking for the ball after just throwing 4 innings that same day in the second game of the doubleheader and saying like, I'm ready to go. Like that's like the first year that I've heard that come out of your mouth. And it wasn't like fake. It was like with full conviction and confidence that one, you're going to be healthy, but two, like you honestly like didn't care. Like you're just wanting to get out there and compete and help the team win, which is awesome. Um, but yeah, props to you, man. Super proud of your career and how you finished. But
Thank you. I
oh,
really appreciate that.
yeah,
There's some fun ones.
We
I
got
remember.
stories. We got
Yeah, I
stories.
remember. I remember my the 2021 season. Me and Makana were roommates in Hilo every road trip. Every time we went out there, and I mean that season we only played Hilo. So it was every other week. One weekend would be at Les against Hilo, and the next weekend would be at Hilo's place. So Makana and I spent a lot of time together, being roommates. I remember just like we were both not really having the season we wanted. We were just like um I was already older. I was a fourth year sophomore at that point, so I'd kind of been around the block a couple times, and just trying to tell McConnell, like it just takes time, and like I wasn't having a really good season at the time either, so like as much as I was saying it for him, I was kind of saying it for myself too. It takes time, it takes time. It's like yeah, I'm also here like 3 years older than you and not even playing either, and then when I started to have success, I remember too, like you're always like super supportive of me. You're like, dude, like once you get your shot, you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. And I think like knowing like my teammates have my back, especially like you younger guys, like you guys always believed in me. Like even you, Mac, like you always told me like you thought I was always gonna like be a great player regardless of like what the results always showed. And I think that was always funny because I remember that one of those road trips 2021, like we were talking, it's like, like what if it like just doesn't work out? and like what if like we never see the field, and just always trying to encourage you as much as I could. And it's kind of funny that all the years later, like seeing where you ended up as a player in Makana, like I never had to really tell you that at some point. Like you embodied it, and you took accountability for your own career, and like you went from this kid who like was searching for self confidence to where your senior year is like, dude, like this kid is gonna like run through a wall for me as a coach. And I think that was really cool to see. Um, I think Mac, I remember, I mean, my favorite story is still always that talk. I think kind of going back to having that conversation, I think that's one thing that at HPU, at least that I've experienced that I think has been invaluable to at least the success that I've seen is for at least myself. Like, you know, I was here, I was your guys' teammates, then becoming your guys' coaches. I know for a lot of people, like coaching your teammates can be hard, but I think for me, it was actually even better because like I knew you, I knew you guys trusted me, and that was like the big thing. Like I put my career on the line for you guys as a player, and you know, as a coach, I could demand the same out of you guys. And I think that honestly gave you guys the freedom to know, like, you know, I always had your guys' back during like we had like, you know, coaching changes and Coach Dane kind of getting his feet under himself as a coach. I think like for me being there to kind of bridge the gap between what a head coach desires for the direction of a program and also like taking your guys' emotions and needs into account and kind of being that like, you know, being that conduit, being that communication line between Dane and the coaching staff and you guys. I think just that was honestly the best experience for me because I knew that my impact on you guys ultimately went way further than my playing career ever could. Like you guys had more success than I feel like I ever could have at HP. Like you guys were in some of the biggest moments in the biggest games, and like I feel like being able to see that on the coaching side and knowing that I had a little bit of I guess influence on it along the way, like that to me is why I love coaching here. So you two are always guys always reference to like you know why I chose to stay. It's because of my relationships with you guys. So I think that's a big story in itself. Is just kind of how everything ended up panning out for your guys' career and for my own. So I thank you guys a lot for everything and just like all the fun we had because it's crazy looking back at it, man. We came a far way. Our little group of like the three of us and like Eddie, and that was fun times, man.
Yeah.
All right, I real quick, Makana, we'll start with Makana. What's like one thing, or let's start with this. What's one memory that is like your favorite memory of HPU? And it could be like something we did as a program, something you guys did, or just in general, or it could be like one specific moment.
Oh, I got a lot.
It's good.
I would say, wasn't it my sophomore year? My sophomore year and my. Did we stay at the Disney Hotel this past year?
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
sophomore year and this year. Same exact room. I slipped and fell in the shower twice. The same exact room, same exact bathroom in the small bathroom. The same exact reason. I'll never forget that.
Oh shoot. That's hilarious. All right, Mac, what about you?
That's crazy because that's literally gonna be my story. I was roommates with Makana for 1 week, and that was the craziest week of my life. This like the way the beds were, they're like an L. So we had like one over here, one over here. But then me and Makana, we were sleeping like head to head, kind of. So the first night, he's watching TikToks and he falls asleep and his AirPods die and his phone is on full blast, replaying the same TikTok. I have a video of it. And then that same night, I turned his phone off, put it in. The same night, he turned around and slapped me in the face because he was moving in his sleep. And then the shower thing happened. Like all of a sudden, we just hear a slip and a crash. And we hear kind of go, oh! We're like, are you okay? He's like, oh, I freaking fell, bro. He's like, and then we walk in there, and the bar that holds the towels is ripped off the wall.
Oh my God.
He's like, I was trying to grab it to catch my fall. I ripped it out of the wall. We're like, oh my God. Then he went to go get pizza, came back. Somebody bumped into him. He dropped it on the floor.
No, it was when we had that dinner at the pool. I think it was your sister then.
Oh yeah.
I made a huge bowl of steak and I forgot what it was. It was steak and something, and then who was it? Was it I forgot who it was, but someone bumped into me in the elevator and I dropped all on the floor. I was just so sick. I was so sick.
And
That's
then
awesome. I
also
think.
Marcus Ramos too. He tried doing the dishes in the room and he
Oh
didn't know
my
how to use
god.
the dishwasher and he flooded the room.
Oh shit! I think I remember that one. Yeah.
Bad. It was a bad week. That was also the week I think I gave up like 4 in an inning and it was a foul home run. It was that same
Oh,
day.
Azusa.
Holy,
It was
is
the
Azusa.
that
same
Azusa?
exact
Is that
day,
at
dude.
Azusa?
That was the worst day of my life. It was the same day. 4 things happened. It was a slip, the Marcus flooding the kitchen. I dropped my food, and then the home. Dude, that was a bad day for me. I remember telling all my roommates, I was like, "Bro, this is the worst day I've ever had."
That's awesome. I think for me, at least, my favorite memories. I say memories because it was like throughout the entire fall was just like seeing you guys posted up in the KE parking lot. Like to me, like that was so cool. Like I wish I was a player and was able to be a part of that. Because that's something I know like brings me back to like when I was playing, as a little kid. Like you stay at the park all night with your parents, drinking in the parking lot and you're, screwing around playing with the boys. But that gave me some hit me and I was like, that's awesome. Like that we can have, a core group of guys that love each other so much that they're just hanging out after practice in a city park. Um, and then that bled into Kehi or I'm sorry Hans Raj and it was really evident the way you guys were able to play together. I know Mac missed it by a year, but Mac, my favorite memory about you was starting the season off and not giving up a run in your first 11 innings that you threw in 2024. I don't know if you remember that. I was really
Like,
upset.
I remember. I had no idea. I just saw a post about it.
Yeah, I was really upset that you didn't get pitcher of the week because I think you went 7 scoreless innings. And you gave up like 2 or 3 hits, and you had got 2 wins in one weekend, and you're not a closer. And I was really upset you didn't get pitcher of the week. But I remember that being like, dang, like this is one of the best starts to a college season that I've ever been a part of on the pitching side, other than Jack's perfect game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that doesn't really count. Nah, nah,
Actually,
nah.
I have actually my favorite memory with you, Dane, was when we were in Concordia and the night before you were talking about PFPs and that when someone bunts, all you have to do is run over there, pick up the ball, shuffle, and throw. He's like, it's that easy.
It was a
That's
hard
all you
three
gotta
steps.
do.
The hard three
That's all you
steps.
gotta do. And then I remember it was like a really close game. There's a guy on third. They tried putting a bunt on me with 2 outs. I go over there, pick it up, shuffle, throw, and you instantly just sprint out of the dugout and chest bump me. He's like, that's exactly what we're talking about. Shuffle, throw, you get him out.
That's hilarious. I have zero recollection of that. I don't
I
Oh
remember.
no,
remember,
you
all I remember
you
seeing
were
was Mac
definitely
screaming at. I remember Mac like screaming at you, and I was like, "What is going on right now?"
That's awesome. Uh, okay, last question. What's one piece of advice you would like it looking back, like you would say, hey, I want to give myself this one piece of advice throughout your 4 years. What do you got, Kana?
I would say, don't be a pitcher, be a competitor.
I like that.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, I love that. Nice, Matt.
Cause yeah,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Kana. You can
no,
explain.
because I was just gonna say like something that I learned throughout my years of college was like once it's game time, like who cares about what you've been working on that week? Stop trying to tweak stuff up mid game. Like you just gotta go out there with whatever feels best, whatever feels natural, and just let it rip. So
Yeah,
like I'd say being a pitcher is overrated. I'd say be a competitor. I think I'll take a best competitor over a good pitcher any day of the week.
I love it. I would agree 100%. Mac, what do you got?
Um, I think I would probably go with is enjoy every day because these are 4 or 5 years that you'll never get back. And I'm telling you right now, as soon as you graduate and as soon as the day comes where you're not playing base anymore, that's all you're going to be thinking about. It's all those memories you have with all the boys. Just going to the HBU baseball games now is like, it's crazy not being able to be a part of it. It's crazy. I would say just enjoy every single day, no matter what.
Love that, man. Yeah, it is crazy. Like I remember, I mean, after the season ends, every season, I get super like not depressed, but just like don't really know what to do with myself, and I know I'm obviously coming back the following year, but I'm like, gosh, man, like you go through each the 4 years like of seeing you guys every single day, and then all of a sudden it stops, and it's like, damn, I'm gonna see these guys like twice a year, if that. So I totally understand where you're coming from. I think that's great advice to current players and future players is be in the moment and enjoy it, right? It definitely doesn't last forever, that's for sure. But well, I appreciate you guys being on. Why don't you guys give a quick update of what you guys are doing with your life now? Makana.
You, oh, right now I'm a inspector, so I do soil inspections for a engineering company.
Nice. Okay. And moved out, living with a
Yeah,
girlfriend
I moved out. I got my own place with my girlfriend and like one of my best friends growing up and his girlfriend. So yeah, definitely turning into an adult now.
now. Nice. Mac, what about you?
I am a tattoo artist now, and I just started my own clothing brand, and
What's it called?
now it's called Hawaii Connected.
Okay. We'll
So
drop
Makana actually,
right here.
oh yeah, no, I'll drop the Instagram. Makana is actually one of my models. Makana was one of my models.
Really?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was doing really good. He looked really good.
okay.
And then me and my girlfriend just moved into a new house, so
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
nice.
we just moved
Congrats.
into a new house.
Awesome. And we'll also Mac's girlfriend is an artist. She's extremely talented too, so we'll make sure to tag her in this video as well. You guys take a
Oh
look
yeah, go listen to Ku by Bella Kala'i and Tehani
on the radio.
on the radio.
Well, awesome. Again, I appreciate you guys hopping on here. This is great to see both of you. Sure we'll see you guys out at some games this
Oh,
spring.
for sure.
But again, these
100%.
are two of some of the most successful pitchers since I've been at HBU, or at least in recent times with the HBU program, with or without me being the head coach. They were a part of two losing seasons my first 2 years, and in 2024 was the first winning season that Mac was led us to. Like I said, he had seven of those winning wins coming out of the bullpen, and then Makana was a part of the first postseason wins. Actually, here's a memory that I will never forget too. Is I remember you saying after we lost to Point Loma in that first game of the conference tournament this past May, and you said, "Man, all I want to do is celebrate and put the sticker on the."
Yeah, I was happy with that. That was the best
Yeah.
feeling I've got in college. Like I don't think people understand how good that feels. Just to put that sticker on that board.
Absolutely. I mean, especially coming from, having two losing seasons, and, obviously your high school shut down or COVID shut everything down. So, I think those moments become even more special. And it's just a testament to these two guys of, how hard they worked over the 4 years that they're at HBU, and, been able to turn this program around along with Coach Ritchie. So appreciate you guys, love you guys, and
Sure, love you too. Thanks for having us.
yeah,
Sure, love you
absolutely.
guys.
Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year. Have a good
New
one.
Year.